Red Bull Racing has caught McLaren in what some in the paddock regard as a potential grey area violation, or at the very least, an excessive abuse of the regulations. At the heart of the debate is McLaren's unrivalled tyre temperature control, which has been critical to their supremacy in the 2025 season. While Red Bull and other teams try to figure out McLaren's performance advantage, the FIA has already probed the topic several times. What's the conclusion? McLaren's answer is creative, but lawful. Or is it? McLaren has the fastest car so far this year. Also, the Papaya car has superior control over the tyre temperature than the competitors. Red Bull is frantically trying to figure out what the trick is. This year, McLaren drivers have won 5 of the 6 Grands Prix. The Papaya racer's success is known as almost perfect tyre management. No other car in the field can get the tyres up to temperature rapidly and then maintain them in the magic window so consistently, no matter the tarmac temperature or the course. This quality benefits the McLaren drivers on a quick qualifying lap and even more during the race. The tyres provide constant grip from the first to the last lap. The sector times in Miami emphasize this. In the first sector, Max Verstappen finishes a tenth of a second behind the fastest McLaren. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri are ahead in the second and third. In the race, the advantage is even more apparent. Once the McLaren drivers get ahead, they are unbeatable. Oscar Piastri has always been merciful in overcoming his opponents. However, he only equaled his pursuers' pace. In Jeddah, the Australian recorded his personal best lap right at the end. To demonstrate the competition, I had everyone under control. Since the beginning of the season, opponents have been perplexed as to how McLaren manages to maintain tyre temperatures so efficiently, even in the most difficult conditions. Red Bull is making every attempt to solve the riddle. Thermal imaging cameras are utilized during pit stops to determine the temperature of the brake cooling ducts, which can then be used to indirectly adjust tyre temperatures. There is a special emphasis on rear tyres because they tend to overheat faster than front rollers, and thermal imaging, particularly from the heat races in Bahrain and Jeddah, revealed that McLaren has many blue regions in its brake drum area, whilst the other cars have a lot of orange and red. Conclusion at Red Bull: impossible that you can cool so well with air alone. Recently, the old idea that McLaren utilizes water in the tyres to keep the rubber rollers cold reappeared. McLaren boss Zak Brown calls the accusation ridiculous. He provocatively marked his drink bottle tyre water at the command post. According to McLaren, the MCL39's incredible capabilities are a result of plenty of downforce, outstanding vehicle balance, and innovation. Whatever that means. It could be clever airflow within the brake ducts, the use of materials that maintain the circulating air within a specific temperature range, or another ingenious approach to cool the air. Opponents routinely bombard the FIA with pleas to solve the enigma through the elimination process based on the international governing body's technicians' responses. Red Bull and its sister team, Toro Rosso, stand out particularly. Whatever it is, it appears legal. The opposition's activism has prompted the FIA to take a closer look. Multiple FIA examinations, including a more extensive review following Formula One's Miami Grand Prix on Sunday night, have cleared McLaren's under-the-spotlight rear brake system as a smart but legal concept. McLaren's edge in managing rear tyre temperatures better than any other team has sparked a lot of speculation about what the team is up to. Rival teams have been trying to figure out where McLaren's edge comes from, with the focus narrowing down to how it cools the outer surface of its rear brake drum, which helps to keep the wheel rim and tyre that sits on top of it from being too hot. The inability of other teams to completely comprehend what McLaren is doing has led some to question whether it is operating in a grey area of the regulations. It is understood that thermal photos received by Red Bull from an outside source, which revealed some fascinating cold spots on the McLaren rear brake drums, were submitted to the FIA as part of an ongoing discussion on the subject. Despite persistent speculation, including claims that McLaren was forced to revise its design, the team asserted that nothing was wrong. McLaren CEO Zak Brown, who teased competitor Red Bull with a tyre water bottle gimmick in Miami, insisted last weekend that his team did not have to change anything. When questioned in Miami if the FIA had requested that the team make any changes to their car's tyre or brake temperature management, Brown said, "No, nothing." In response to complaints raised by McLaren's opponents, the FIA has taken a closer look at the McLaren brake design at recent races to determine what's going on. According to sources, after McLaren finished first and second in the Miami Grand Prix, FIA personnel performed a more thorough assessment of the braking system, ducts and drums on Sunday night in an attempt to finally put the subject to rest. There is no formal documentation of the results of that examination yet, and if this was one of the extra extensive physical inspections that the FIA does on a selected car after each race, it will not be officially validated until the Emilia-Romagna GP later this month. However, with no communication to the team or officials on Sunday night that any concerns had been discovered, it is almost expected that any future note will give the all clear. This would imply that, as with past FIA inspections, McLaren's design perfectly complies with the standards. It is merely a brilliant design. After McLaren's dominant performance in Miami, with Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris in a class of their own as George Russell's third-placed Mercedes finished 37 seconds behind, team boss Andrea Stella made some pointed references to the work his team had done on tyre temperature management over the winter. "I just want to take the opportunity to praise the work that has been done by the engineers at McLaren," he said. "This is in terms of identifying these factors and designing these factors in a way that is practical to actually cash in this kind of benefit. And then master one of the matters that still in F1 looks like it's a little bit of a black art, which is dealing with tyres. So, very proud of the team." Stella also explained how McLaren made specific efforts during the winter to improve tyre management. "It's a result of some very targeted engineering work," he added. "If you had asked me before the season, I would say we have invested in improving the interaction with the tyres. But I wouldn't have said that the extent would have been the one that we see in this kind of race." Mercedes is one of the teams that does not understand how McLaren is so much better at tyre temperature management. But team boss Toto Wolff was adamant on Sunday night that McLaren's edge was down to just performing a better job than everyone else, rather than operating outside of the rules. "The team around Zach, Andrea, Rob Marshall, these are good people with integrity," replied Wolff. "If, in the past, we may say, let's look whether there's something borderline, I have no doubt that these guys stay within the rules. It's just really a good development, that car. They've understood how to manage the tyre much better than everyone else. In my opinion, it's totally legit." From a team management point of view, when someone is doing a better job than you, we should not look at that and say, "They're cheating," because that's not the right attitude. We just need to come better and eventually not be 30 to 35 seconds behind over 55 laps. While Red Bull has paid close attention to what McLaren is doing, team principal Christian Horner believes there's nothing unlawful on McLaren's car. Asked on Sunday if the team had ever considered protesting McLaren, as it did with George Russell's car after the Miami race, Horner said, "We're not reporting or suggesting there's anything illegal on the car. We felt George Russell has done something which is in breach of the regs." He added, "McLaren is the standout car. They have the kind of advantage we saw a couple of years ago. They're obviously doing a very good job in managing temperatures, and particularly, if you look at the end of the medium stint, that was probably where they were the most competitive. That's what we need to focus on. I think we had brake issues that have compounded the problem in the race, but that's what we need to understand moving forward. The question is, if they're able to the gap to McLaren, especially now it's been ruled out they're doing anything illegal. So, will they be able to? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.